What's a good word, everyone? It's your boy DKB here. I just want to say thanks for all the support. The channel's been steadily growing, and the number you see below, you can drop a text, shoot a voicemail, any ideas, topics, collabs, etc. you guys want to see. I'll include them in future videos and live streams, and I'll catch you again. Be easy. What's a good word, Jets fans? It's your boy DKB here, and I wanted to chat about an interesting tweet that I kind of seen, or really just some commentary from Adam Schefter as it relates to Aaron Glenn and his leadership of this New York Jets team, and really his takeover of the franchise as a whole. Because since he was hired as the New York Jets head coach, he's really made a ton of moves that it should be a strong indicator that everything we're focused on is related to the football field. It's related to the draft. It's related to college and trying to find the next best available New York Jets players. And I say that for a reason, not just players as a whole. And you look at him hiring Darren Muji, which you can make the argument that that's definitely what happened. You can look at the front office sweeping changes, right? Not only personnel moves, but you also talk about the contract buyouts, right? You take a look at some scouting team revamps. You look at the whole new coaching staff, with the exception of Sean Jefferson, that he put in place. And with Adam Schefter, I wanted to talk about essentially what he calls the gag order, if you will, that's been put in place with Aaron Glenn, where we aren't looking to have leaks to the media. We aren't looking to hear that contract disputes are just being blatantly, lambasted over social media, or guys are running to try to find Adam Schefter or Rich Cimini or Zach Rosenblatt or any of these guys that can go out there and blow up a huge article, right? Aaron Glenn wanted things intentionally as quiet as possible. And even when you look at a lot of these moves that we made, right, you can argue with some of the personalities we've seen from press conferences and such that aside from skill set, the personality is one that is generally pretty quiet, right? It doesn't seem like there's a bunch of hyper guys, or really even for some of these younger dudes like Justin Fields and stuff, guys that are so in touch with social media and having to blow up this huge brand and stuff like that. And even for the guys that were already like that installed, like a Sauce Gardner, for example, you can even see where he has toned things down and he's separated whatever freelance stuff he's doing off to the side with building his brand from the New York Jets and making sure that there isn't an impact there. So to get into the comments specifically, Adam Schefter was on the Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg podcast, and he mentioned for Aaron Glenn, it's a very strong voice. Aaron Glenn's clearly, and that's it. He has put that clear to the team, okay, in the organization. Guys, we don't want anyone talking. There are people there that haven't returned my call. And this is huge, right? For one, Adam Schefter is really the go-to for essentially all breaking news in the NFL. I don't know how many times I've watched him break something on ESPN or any other platform that he happens to be on, and he might be getting breaking news as he's breaking news, right? Like, he is the guy of all guys when it comes to that profession, and what many guys have tried to recreate, in their own versions and stuff. So if anybody would be in the know, it would definitely be him, and he would probably be one of the most influential guys. But again, even to that degree, there's a ton of sources that I can, argue would mention right now. Things are extremely quiet. It's essentially a gag order. He wants no one talking unless essentially required, right? I think if the press conference weren't even a mandated thing, I don't know how often we would be hearing from Aaron Glenn, let alone the rest of the staff and or front office, right? And this could only mean great things for this franchise. We have spent so many years, you can argue actually the entire 2 decades plus that Woody Johnson has been owning this thing. We've been for so long not only trying to chase the Super Bowl, but chasing it via headlines and title grabbers, right? Situations where we want to sell tickets before we actually go about winning games. And I think that's what irks and makes the majority of the fan base irate in how we've gone about losing is that we've dished out all this money to guys that have used us as essentially a last bonus, a last paycheck withdrawal before they ended up calling things quit. And some of these guys maybe actually had designs to actually prove that they had 1 or 2 more good years, and we had teams that were set up to at least be able to make a push for it before things ultimately fell to disaster. So here's the great thing about this, right? For year 1, even going into year 2 for Aaron Glenn, depending on how this goes, you set yourself up to where any negatives that you have about Aaron Glenn has to strictly come from football. And that's a huge change. Even with Robert Saleh and his regime, or Todd Bowles or Rex Ryan, a lot of it came down to, well, we started devolving into a circus act, right? We started investing heavily into guys that were going to do nothing to help us out. Clearly bad fits, bad matches, or we started to put so much emphasis on 1 or 2 players and made them bigger than what the team was, right? And we've seen a ton of dysfunction. Geno Smith and the EK punch, for example. You have Mark Sanchez and like the Glizzy scenarios. You have him in the butt fumble. You have him in him and Rex Ryan in the foot fetish, but the tattoos. All of these different things across the majority of these, franchise resets for us. So this is a great just breath of fresh air for us, right? We finally get to only have to worry about football moves. And for us that have also had to sit and comb through all these articles that are essentially headline grabbers, it also gives us as a fan base a chance to really just tap into the team, and we can start learning more now about the schemes. How are things changing? What's different? Actually focusing specifically on player talents and looking at matches and all of this stuff that will allow even the types of content that get put out about the team to ultimately change. So I'm really, really excited about this. But let me know what you guys think. Aaron Glenn with essentially a no gag order for the media, or a gag order for the media in place, so that we can strictly worry about football decisions. And I'll catch you guys again. Peace.